So, welcome to the next edition of the Rare Business Podcast. With me today, I have Peter. Now, let me see if I can get his last name right. So it's Peter Muhlmann, who is the CEO and founder of Trustpilot. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Adrian, that was a very good pronunciation of my last name. Thank you very much.
Yay! So, Peter, thank you so much for joining us for a little bit of a conversation. But for the benefit of our listeners and readers, can you tell us a little bit about you and a bit about the work that you do?
Yeah, sure. So I am the founder and CEO at Trustpilot.
Mm-hmm.
At Trustpilot, we're creating a global standard for trust through the medium of review. So we help online consumers find what other consumers think about a company. So you can look up a company before you buy.
Yeah.
And then we help companies work actively with the feedback they have from their customers. So partially to improve their business, and partially to show that they're a great business that you could happily buy from.
Excellent. Now, I mean, I spoke to your colleague, I think back in July last year, Jan Jensen, who's your CMO, about what you're doing in that sort of space. But I also kind of know that when we were sort of kind of connected, is that one of the things that was really interesting for me is one of the ideas is that you've grown massively in recent years, and things like 80% year-on-year revenue growth, an increase in staff from 26 to 127 to 325, and now got offices over 3 different continents. And the thing that was really interesting for me about that is that you pride yourself on not necessarily helping other companies kind of improve their service and their experience, and as you say, develop a standard of trust with their customers or their communities. But what I'd be really interested to understand is like how you've preserved your culture as you've grown so fast in order to preserve your ability to deliver excellent service and experience to your clients.
Yeah. And it's also like when you said like what is it that tell us a little bit about what you do. I thought about that question because, and as I said, like I'm the founder and the CEO.
Yeah.
And I think in that regard, being the founder and being the CEO is actually 2 very different roles. And as the founder, you're really the cultural leader.
Okay.
In a way, you're a spiritual leader.
Right.
And when you start a business, I find that culture just comes by itself.
Right.
If you're just 10 people or 20 people, even 50 people, it's a little bit like a big high school class.
Right.
Where everybody knows everybody and everybody knows why you're doing what you're doing, and there are a lot of things unsaid that are implicitly understood.
Right. Yeah.
And then when the company grows bigger, I think around the 120 mark, something happens with the human psychology. Maybe the tribe has become bigger than it was, in the African savannah for some many thousands of years ago. What happens is that people no longer know each other.
Yes.
And they don't know who they are, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know why they're doing what they're doing. And that's creating this cultural barrier that you have to get through. And then again, once you hit the 300 mark, there's another place where people don't even know who I am anymore.
Right.
So and probably as we continue with this journey, like if you spoke with somebody who had led a 1,000 or a 10,000 people company, they would say that there are more thresholds again. So what the reason I care so much about the culture is that it gives. I look at it like the glue in the company, and I look at it like everybody knowing the values and the direction. Then if everybody knows why we're doing what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we're treating each other, then the company becomes much more autonomous and thereby also much more efficient.
Right. Okay. I mean, what's fascinating is you mentioned, there's 2 things that you mentioned. One is that you go to above 300 and then people don't start to not know who you are as the founder anymore. I think the one thing I would say is that you need to get out more. And then there's the second thing that you said was around about the 120 people part. You mentioned something to do with Africa and the savannas, and that reminded me actually of a piece of research, I think it's anthropological or sociological research, which actually shows that self-sustaining communities exist in almost like they have a natural size which is between 120 and 140. And actually, if you look at kind of social networking, and you look at kind of people like on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, that's sort of the limit of the natural size of a network that we can maintain and sustain kind of over time. And then so in terms of kind of like close links rather than loose links, if you know what I mean.
Yes, yes, exactly. So let me just add though, when I say they don't know who I am, they probably know that I'm the, so what I meant with that was more like they know that I'm Peter and I'm the CEO of Trustpilot.
Yeah.
But they don't know me.
Yes.
And I don't know them. I don't know, like, do they, what's their relationship like? How are their kids? What are their dreams and hopes?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going from that super personal level that we had at the beginning of the business to you can say a much less personal interaction that sets new requirements.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, have you? So, given that you've gone beyond this kind of size, and you're growing rapidly in terms of size, and you're facing some of these challenges in terms of not necessarily understanding what's kind of going on amongst kind of people as a company scales, and that's only natural. I mean, so what have you done to try and, if you like, battle against that? I mean, what have you put in place, and have you got a cultural program that you've put in place?
So I think something that I'm very inspired with is it's a book written by a gentleman called Simon Sinek. It's called Start With Why.
Oh, okay, yes, I know it.
And that's something that really has inspired me. If you always start with why are you doing what you're doing,
right,
and keep telling the employees that are working in the business, like, why do Trustpilot exist? Why are we here? What is it that we want to achieve? Always starting with that, and keep reinforcing that message, keep evolving it. That's been a good starting ground, because often what happens as the company grows bigger, you have a lot of focus on the how and the what.
Yes.
Because that's what you measure, and that's what's being reported to everybody. But at the end of the day, people don't work because of the how and the what. They work because of the why. That the why is what carries the meaning. Yeah. The how and the what is just the results in your actions. So I think what we've been successful with, to a certain degree at least, is that we've always reinforced why, and then the how and the what is following the why. Okay. So that's on the, you can say, meta level, if you will, and then on the practical level, there are a lot of small things like we always eat together.
Okay.
So we're having you can say we're bringing in food at the office, and then everybody will eat together. I think that's a very nice way for everybody to get to know each other.
Yeah.
We are doing social clubs, like we have running clubs together. We have bike riding together. We're actually the New York champions of softball for companies.
Being a Danish company, that's some achievement.
Yeah. So I never thought that, and then we won another team sport. So we have around 100 people in New York now. And I've been amazed with how the culture here, obviously it's more American than it is in Denmark, but somehow we've managed to create the same culture where people genuinely care about the business. And that's the second aspect of it, is that I think what I've been doing a good job at is to show people that I care about them.
Right.
Like high and low.
Yeah.
Like I make no difference and I make a point that everybody, if we're out together, there's not a difference between whether you're the CMO or you are just started as an intern.
Right.
He will speak to you in exactly the same way. You have the same value as a human being, and I think that's helping creating a culture where people care. And then secondly, we've also been a very international crowd. We've been wanting to build an international company.
Yes.
And I thought you're not going to build an international company if you're only people of the same nationality. So today we're 40 nationalities in Trustpilot.
Excellent.
So we have everything from Iceland to Uzbekistan.
That's fantastic.
And that, I think, has really also created a place where everybody was new in the country. Everybody was new in the city. So in that way, we became a place where people met and a place where people got friends and a place where people lived their lives. And I think that's also really helped create a glue in the business.
Excellent. And have you seen have you, given all of that, because it sounds like to me is that, one, it's not, you're starting with the why, but it's, and that's for people, and it's a communication sort of tool because you keep reinforcing it, but also that you're also not rather just saying it, you're also showing your kind of why, and then showing that you care, and then that kind of, there's a positive feedback loop in that. But the other things that then there's some of these social activities. I guess it sounds to me like you're understanding the kind of why and the rationale and the motivation, but because you're growing too fast, you're not really thinking about rules and regulations, because it's almost like if we put faith in our community and our people, then they'll help us kind of grow. Is that right?
Yes, we have, for better or worse, I've always, like when we do training for new hires, I say I care about trust.
Right.
So I care about trust in you. So trust, like obviously as Trustpilot, it's a value we have, right?
Yeah.
You can say externally that you need to be able to trust our reviews, and that's something we take incredibly serious. But also in the interactions we have with each other, I say I want trust, I want care, and I want a winning mentality. And what I mean by trust and care is that we're not the kind of company that will monitor that you get in at a certain time.
Right.
If you want to meet at 8 or 8:30 or at 9, that's really up to you. And if you need to go to the dentist, you go to the dentist. And if you need to go at 6 or 5 or 7 or 4, that's fine. And we won't block you from going to Facebook or YouTube. If you find a funny video, you share that with me, please. I need a laugh too now and then, right?
Sure.
But so in that way, we like to give people a lot of responsibility and a lot of self-governing. And then in return, so we show that we trust them,
uh-huh.
and we then need them to trust us that we're acting in their best interest. And then what I want in return is that people then treat that trust with a winning and a caring attitude, so that they show that they care about each other, they care about the company, and that they create great results. And also I'm trying to reinforce that if you care about each other and if you trust each other, then I can walk over to you and I can say what you're working on is not really any good. But I can say it in a way so that you know it's not personal criticism. I can say it in a way to you so that you know that I'm telling you because I care about the company and I trust you and I trust that you know that I care about you. So in that way we're having a very flat meritocratic organization that's able to solve problems in a very constructive way. And that's something I think is easily lost once you grow big and bureaucratic.
Yeah, I think that's true. Now, so Peter, if I was to put you on the spot a little and said, if you were to give any advice to, say, an entrepreneur, executive, or a leader who are looking to, say, try and not necessarily copy, but replicate your experience in terms of scaling your culture in their company, what would you say to them? What sort of advice would you give them?
I'm going to tell them to always show how much they care about the people that are working for them and how grateful they are that they are there.
Excellent. And when you say kind of show, that's not just the words, right? That's actually in your actions. It's like you were talking. It's not necessarily about what you say. It's also about what you do and how you act and things.
Absolutely. It is, but at the same, like I find that. So obviously there has to be you can't just say something and then not do it.
Sure.
But I would say as a lot of people maybe have their guards a little bit too high up. I think it's okay if you show that you're also just a person. You don't have to you can say, be this unapproachable CEO I think there's a lot gained from everybody knowing that your job is to make them successful.
Sure. Yeah. It's almost being a human being, regardless of whether you're the CEO or you're the intern or whatever. It's like everybody's a human being. So let's not play sort of like, if you like, let's not be unapproachable just because of the position that we're in.
Exactly, and I think especially in a startup, right? Because in a startup, there's a lot of advantages you don't have in terms of what's already established. So you need, the only way you're winning is because you have a lot of people who are giving their 200%.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, Peter, is there anything else that you'd like to kind of add from sort of Trustpilot's kind of story, or thoughts about kind of where you're going to go next, apart from world domination, of course?
Yeah, so something that I thought was very interesting was the tie-in between the why do you do what you do,
yeah,
with the customer satisfaction,
okay,
and then the way of gathering that through reviews. So something that that we're working on now that I think is really interesting is that we're saying, well, why do you come to work every day? You come to work because you want to deliver greatness. You come to work because you want to achieve something.
Yeah.
Now, and then I find it super interesting to tie that in with the customer experience, to say, like, so if you can somehow gather all the experiences from the customers through great reviews and then show your employees how happy everybody are with what you're doing, I think that becomes another why for the organization. That becomes another thing that makes it worthwhile for people, and it becomes meaningful. Because you're going to work to deliver great customer service. You're going to work because you can see, not that you solved 200 tickets in your support system, but you can see that you made 200 people happy, and that your business is now being chosen because those people are happy. So in that way, that's something that we're now very much focusing on, is the tie-in between the customer satisfaction, the employee satisfaction, and looping those together. And yeah, that's just getting a better world, and that makes me happy.
Fantastic. I mean, that sounds really interesting about closing that loop and linking it all into, as you say, employee satisfaction and engagement and everything else. Because if everybody can see kind of their actual tangible results of kind of what they're doing in terms of, as you say, the why, in terms of keeping kind of customers kind of happy and delivering great service, etc., then
exactly.
it become a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, so what we see now a lot of companies doing, which is something that excites me a lot, is that they put up flat screen TVs in their offices with their latest reviews, the latest, like, good and bad, but mainly the reviews turn out to be great, right?
Yeah.
And then that is a rally point for the employees in that company. Like we want to let everybody out there know that we're doing great. Yeah, simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's also not just, it's reflecting that inside as well, so that you actually, people inside your business get the benefit as well as people outside your business. And so almost like it's being breaking down the barriers between what is the business and kind of what's the outside, and so it's the real transparency sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So Peter, I'm just conscious of time and your time and things, and so I'm only left with my final question that I always ask, and the question is this:
yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to shamelessly plug?
To what?
Shamelessly plug.
To shamelessly plug.
So, to translate is, what would you like to promote without embarrassment?
Without embarrassment. I think without embarrassment, I can say that I am. I'm fortunate to live in a world where we as consumers just demand to know what other consumers think, and that I'm happy that we're now in a world also where companies are catching up to that, and then improving their business and their employee satisfaction. And so I'm not sure how shameful it would be to promote that.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it for you, Peter. I'm going to tell all our listeners.
Yeah.
You should definitely. This is the second time that I've spoken to Trustpilot in the last sort of 9 months. And I tell you what, you've got a great story. You do some great work. You're holding many, many companies to allowing them to hold themselves to account in their customers' eyes, and allowing them to promote their own sort of good practices around the rest of this human community that we live in. And I think that you're doing a great job, and I think you should be applauded for it.
That's very kind of you. I will. I'm grateful for you saying that.
So that's my shameless plug on your behalf.
You did it better than me.
So, Peter, that's kind of it for now, and I just want to say thank you so much for giving me the time and sharing your insights and your thoughts and your experience. I wish you the best of luck in the future. I think you're doing great work, and once again, thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you very much, Adrian. I'm starting a career as a blogger soon on hlmann.com. So I have half a blog post on this subject also. So hopefully we get to talk about it again sometime in the future.
I look forward to it.
Fantastic. Thank you, and have a great day.
You too.